A short response to William Ruto. Mr. William Ruto, Kenyans have rejected you. They have rejected you in their millions. They have rejected you from Mandera to Mombasa, from Kisumu to Kakamega to Busia to Turkana. They have rejected you in Nairobi and all the cities and towns and villages of Kenya. This is not a small thing, and it is not something that has happened before. Kenyans of all generations, all ages, have rejected you, William Ruto.
Hi, Saseni team safeguarding. I pray mko salama and you guys are safe. Tunaombea Gen Z ndani ya 254 sana sana. Team safeguarding, we would like to pass our sincere condolences to, I think, the 5 people that passed on katika maandamano, and tunauliza Gen Z, tafadhali protest peacefully. There is no reason for violence or for vandalism or for doing things that are contrary to the law. Otherwise, that is why police wanaanza kureact and they are using live ammunition. Bwana Miguna ameongea. I think he's trying to address Ruto. Mimi ningeuliza tu president, tafadhali do not assent to that finance bill. Ajo ilipitishwa jana, but definitely you need to think very well kuhusu what Gen Z is saying. Gen Z literally, they are more than half of Kenya. So tafadhali, I would really pray, please ongea na Mama Ruto. Ongea na Mama Rachel Ruto. She's a prayerful woman of God. Wacha akwambie that definitely assenting to that bill is going to continue bringing more chaos. The issue of trying to deploy army ikuja isaidie is not necessary. It is not necessary kwa sababu army does not need to be deployed for this. Police can handle with this, but the problem is that Gen Z are not being listened to. Tafadhali tusikilize Gen Z. Watu wasikilize Gen Z. Mr. Miguna hapa has his say. Sometimes he does talk a lot of sense. Sometimes I don't agree with him. But I think on this one, hii issue ya kusema watu wamekukatana nini, that really imeoneshana. Whatever plans you have, Mr. President, I don't know what it is, but Kenyans wanaumia. People are really struggling, and therefore this overtaxation is not helping, and that is why the Gen Z are reacting. They just want complete your finance bill itoke, sio hata itibadilishwe kidogo. The whole thing need to be scrapped. It can be done again, Mr. President. So tafadhali, kama team safeguarding, sisi kwanza tungeuliza, do not assent to that bill tafadhali, because it is going to continue bringing more bloodshed. Kuna a lot of Gen Z, I believe kuna maandamano ingine, I think from what I'm hearing na kwa mtandao imeplaniwa Thursday. If you are to assent to that bill, I can definitely see problems. Now, what we do not want to see our youth dying. We do not want to see Gen Z dying. We don't even want to see vandalism. We don't want to see houses and families of members of parliament and senate and government officials, homes being vandalized and tortured and being burned down, because of course these MPs and ministers, they live with people, they live in villages, they live in places where everybody knows them. So people are reacting to people who say no and yes. But also I would say Speaker of the National Assembly, Mr. Moses Wetangula, tafadhali use the power of your discretion. Ukona powers ambayo umepatiwa. I know jana ulisema you spoke to the leader of minority and majority. Now you had consensus that you need, watu waoneshana wakisema yes or no. I do not think that was the right way, because of course you knew people who say yes, regardless of whatever happens, the Gen Z wanakataa hii mambo, and they know where these people live. So what did you expect? So Mr. Moses Wetangula, also sometimes you have to use what God has given you, the ability. You are very educated. you are a person that has understanding. Use the powers that you have as the Speaker of the National Assembly and say, no, I'm going to put a secret balloting. Let people who are voting yes not to be known. Otherwise, right now, go around the country, check reports on TikTok, check report on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, YouTube, and you will see how those people that said yes, kwao kumekuwa vandalized. Maybe yours have not been vandalized because there's heavy presence of police wanakulinda kwako, but a lot of those people that do not have that kind of security, kwao saa hizi familia wako na mashida mingi sana, nyumba nyingi zimechomeka. Come on, Mr. Moses Watengula. Some of these things you don't need to go to university for it. You need to just use your understanding that ujue this is a very crucial bill, and showing people who are saying yes is going to cause a problem. So nobody needs to go to school to know this. So use your discretion and say, as a Speaker of the National Assembly, I am going to refuse for people to show who is saying yes and who is saying no. I'm going to use secret balloting. That's it. Like you said yesterday, it could have only taken 15 minutes. And that was the best way. Otherwise, saizi wewe kama national speaker, unaweza pia kukua kusemekana ulisababisha. Because if people did not know who said yes and who said no, haingejulikana. You have the power to keep that private. And that's all people needed. So anyway, guys, let's listen to what Mr. Miguna is continuing to say. Na msisahau tafadhali kusubscribe and maintain peace, Gen Z.
It is not just the Gen Zs. It is not just the millennials. It is not the so-called criminals that, quote, infiltrated the protests. The protests that have been taking place in Kenya, from coast to coast, from north to south, east to west, have been peaceful and have been led by well-educated, articulate, focused, and disciplined Kenyans. They made a very simple demand that you should have met. They say, withdraw Finance Bill 2024. You could have done that last week. You ought not to have tabled it in Parliament, because this is an alien anti-people bill, which was drafted by the IMF and the World Bank in Washington. It's not our bill. Kenyans are taxed to death. You've turned Kenya into an outlier state that kneels before the Western world. You thought you could loot Kenya, just like your predecessors have done. And we have said no. Listen to us. And we are not begging. We are making demands. And we are saying, if you don't withdraw Finance Bill 2024, and if you don't resign, we will remove you from power.